Blackagar Boltagon, the king of the Inhumans, also made a cameo appearance in Doctor Strange 2 as a member of the Illuminati on Earth 838. He was played by Anson Mount. The actor played Black Bolt for the first time in the short-lived Marvel TV show Inhumans. His MCU debut was also short. When the Illuminati fought the Scarlet Witch, Black Bolt was the first to die in one of the most violent scenes in the MCU. Whose idea was it for him to die in such a gruesome way? Stick around to find out. Black Bolt's gruesome death scene was Sam Raimi's idea. Michael Waldron, who wrote the book Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, says that director Sam Raimi came up with the idea for Black Bolt's horrible death. The shocking scene of Black Bolt's violent death went viral on social media, and now the writer of Multiverse of Madness explains how it happened. In an interview with Empire magazine, via The Direct, Waldron said that his team didn't know how to show at first that Wanda was a serious threat, but they did know that the first death had to be very scary. Director Sam Raimi gave them the perfect answer. I got to a part in the script where I thought, oh crap, I don't know what to do. The movie needs to get drunk. We wanted that first death to be shocking. Hey, don't mess with Wanda. We were talking about how to kill Black Bolt while sitting on Zoom. Someone said that his power is that he can shoot very powerful energy from his mouth. I swear that Sam didn't even pause before he asked, what mouth? And Sam just gave us a picture of what was going on. The next thing you know, Wanda has just ripped his mouth shut, he screams, and his head explodes. That's Sam Raimi, the master of scary movies for you. Waldron says that Raimi was able to capture the feeling of pure horror that they were going for almost effortlessly. Even though he has made a number of superhero movies like the Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire and Multiverse of Madness, the Evil Dead franchise is probably what most people know him for. Since Sam Raimi has worked in horror for a long time, it makes sense that his mastery of the genre showed in Doctor Strange 2. Black Bolt's death was a turning point in the movie because it seemed like Wanda had gone too far and the Scarlet Witch had become a heartless monster. Some Marvel Comics fans didn't like the scene where Black Bolt was killed, even though it may have been the best example of Raimi's horror skills. Black Bolt's death seemed to be another sign that Marvel wasn't interested in the Inhumans storyline. Even though Black Bolt's death in the Multiverse of Madness was almost certainly the end of the character, there is still a chance he could come back to the franchise as a different version. Still, even if Black Bolt never comes back to the MCU, the way he died in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness will always be one of the most memorable parts of the series. Black Bolt's death VFX had some head-busting unseen details. The VFX supervisor at Industrial Light and Magic, Julian Foddy, talks about how they made Black Bolt's death scene for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. ILM VFX supervisor Foddy talked about how Black Bolt died in Multiverse of Madness in a recent interview with before and afters. They started by putting a CG patch over Mount's mouth. This patch was made from photos of the actor's mouth. Then Foddy and his team had to make the sonic blast that scrambles the character's brain and blows the back off his head. They did this by looking at things like how things break in slow motion and how wind affects human skin. When compared to Stewart's Charles Xavier or Krasinski's Reed Richards in Doctor Strange 2, Black Bolt's cameo was not as well known, but the shocking way he died made a lot of people in theaters all over the world react, especially families who aren't used to the MCU being so violent. Even though there wasn't much blood and guts, most people didn't expect to see a man's head blow off inside his mask or helmet. The scene goes for a Sam Raimi vibe by making the Scarlet Witch look like an even scarier bad guy right before she kills everyone else in the Illuminati. Black Bolt's death, on the other hand, could be a sign of things to come in the MCU. The MCU seems to be getting older, since Disney Plus is adding more parental controls to the Defenders and Marvel Studios is working on Deadpool 3. But if Kevin Feige and his team want to cut down on the blood and guts, Multiverse of Madness shows how to use special effects in a way that works with PG-13 rules. Moving on to related news. Thanos proves that MCU's Black Bolt is the ultimate anti-celestial weapon. Thanos showed that one Marvel hero is the best way to get rid of Marvel's godlike Celestials in his most powerful and destructive attempt to get more power. Thanos thinks about his rise to power in Thanos number 14 by Donny Cates and Jeffrey Shaw. He thinks about how he beat big cosmic forces like Odin and Galactus. But when the Mad Titan's trail of chaos threatens all life in the galaxy, the Celestials finally do something about it. They come down to Earth and use their incredible power to defeat him, but Thanos is ready for them and meets the Celestials with Black Bolt in chains, who is the king of the Inhumans. Black Bolt is one of the most powerful things in the Marvel Universe. With just a whisper, he can break mountains. Thanos stabs the Inhuman, and when he screams, it turns out that his scream is powerful enough to destroy Celestials. 6 of the huge beings break apart and fly off into space. The fact that Black Bolt can kill multiple Celestials with one bellow proves that he has more raw power than Hulk, Thor, and even the Sentry. Black Bolt has always been good at controlling his powers, but it wasn't until he finally let loose in Thanos Wins that the Inhuman King showed that his voice is one of the most destructive things ever made. This is probably why Thanos chose to use it as a weapon in his final victory. Thanos' younger self, annoyed by his future self's lack of purpose, decided to go after a different kind of victory. This changed the future of Thanos Wins. Next, the Avengers are pathetic compared to Black Bolt's ultra-hardcore team. The Avengers are Earth's mightiest heroes because they are made up of some of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, like Thor, Hulk, and Ghost Rider. However, there is a team led by Black Bolt that makes even the strongest Avengers lineup look like a joke. In Fantastic Four number 571, written by Jonathan Hickman and Dale Eaglesham, fans meet the Light Brigade, a group of universal Inhumans. The Light Brigade is led by Black Bolt and is made up of different Inhumans from all over the universe. They have to go on a dangerous mission that no other team has ever finished. This mission is to go to the Negative Zone and fight the Annihilation Wave, which is an army of bug-like creatures led by Annihilus that never seems to end. Annihilus and his army are very strong just because there are so many of them. The Light Brigade's mission to defeat them is almost crazy because it can never be done, but that's what makes them so tough. Even when the odds are against them, the Light Brigade goes straight into the most dangerous situations in the known universe. Even when there is no immediate danger and no guarantee of survival, they look for battles to fight and bad guys to beat. This shows that the Avengers can't compete with the Light Brigade, Black Bolt's team of very tough universal Inhumans. Finally, Battleworld Explained and why it can't be used in Avengers 6. Before the events of Secret Wars in the comics, there was no Battleworld. The Beyonder took the heroes and villains he had chosen to deep space, and then right in front of their eyes, he used his amazing cosmic powers to make a planet where they could compete in his big tournament. The Beyonder wanted to make a planet where his champions could use their powers to their fullest, so he decided that the best way to make a new planet was to use pieces of other planets, whether or not they were inhabited. Because of the Beyonder's work, it goes without saying that his competitors were not the only ones to end up on Battleworld. Even though the idea of a planet made of other planets is really interesting, it doesn't seem like the best way to adapt Secret Wars to the MCU, especially since the Beyonder won't be in the new story. Not only that, but it wouldn't fit with the multiverse, which is the main idea that the MCU is focusing on right now. This means that the whole event is supposed to happen more in time than in space. Since Kang is being set up as the main bad guy in the movie, it would make more sense for the fights to take place at his home base, which is more connected to him and his character. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for sticking around till the very end. Comment below what you think of Black Bolt's gruesome death. Cheers!